So at some point this weekend, I'm going to try to do a video. I think what I'm going to do next is on the gun club. And I was listening to them today. Gun Club or Green River. And I just, I'm doing this is just kind of an update video to remind everybody that I am doing a podcast with my buddy Nick, and it's called Mixtape Hotline. And it is on YouTube, and it's also on Spotify and iTunes now. And so everybody check that out. We're doing more like uh kind of doing more 90s vibe. We did the first episode was I want to say the first episode was like about Nirvana. The second episode was about the single soundtrack. Third episode was about Soundgarden. That one was really good. It was about Super Unknown and Down on the Upside. And then the album we just completed and got released is about Elliott Smith's XO. So far it's been going really well. It's audio only. And if you're looking for like a good, like sort of 90s themed podcast, I think that's what you're gonna get with that. And since we're both musicians, we kind of analyze it from, well, not exactly, it's not like we're like saying that move from G sharp to A minor is just great, that would be a chromatic move. But like, I just like, this is like an update video because I don't really have a lot to talk about, and I want this video to be really short. And I wanted to do a video about something that it's not important enough to be its own video, but I just wanted to mention it because it was a thought I had yesterday, and it kind of relates philosophically to some of the things that I've kind of gone into on the channel. And it's this, like, I generally watch reality shows like 90 Day Fiance. It's like my go-to kind of at night because I try not to watch a lot of TV at night, although I realized today that scrolling on the phone and watching reels on Instagram and watching videos on YouTube is kind of just as bad as what they used to say watching a ton of TV during the day is. Maybe worse because it's more short attention span. So I'm doing that, but at night I only watch television, and I either find myself watching reality shows or sitcoms, either from like the 70s, like Three's Company, Barney Miller, or um, or like Seinfeld. And I'll watch Simpsons. I like the Simpsons pretty much from like roughly the fifth season up until whenever the movie came out. But what was I doing? Oh, so I was watching uh, like the reality, the 90 Day Fiance, the single life, and it's really interesting to me. And then yesterday, I finally got around to watching the Amy Poehler interview with Audrey Plaza, and I had these two divergent strands connect for me. And what was interesting about, I kind of knew this. I never watched Parks and Recreation or Community or anything like that. I know they were made by The Office guys, right? And they have that vibe, which is basically a good vibe. But I think because like playing music and being out at night practicing, you can't make time for that. So I didn't. Whereas I think I'd made time for The Office when it was on, at least the first like, 5, 6, 7 seasons. And I remember saying in a video, well, actually, I want to say something about, well, actually, I'm going to say this first. I remember saying in the video that thing where there was that moment in the aughts where there was, I would say, in Hollywood, as far as it got through to the reading public and people watching and stuff, there was a certain kind of concern that reality television was going to overtake scripted television. And as we now know, scripted television has held its own, and probably, I don't know, they might be neck and neck or something. The guy, I think it's Greg Daniels, the guy from The Office, he had a really important role in bringing scripted television back as like a force within the medium. And I thought in the Amy Poehler interview, and I think I'd heard this before, but it was a little bit more like articulated, was the fact that Audrey Plaza was cast to basically play like a version of herself. So people watching the show kind of had this idea that everybody on the show was kind of playing a character, but this particular character, who was like really funny, and I've seen clips and she was really funny, is kind of doing her bit, which I guess is analogous sort of to how Seinfeld was kind of playing himself as a comedian in New York, on Seinfeld. Though there was a little bit more artifice in that it was more locked into a situational comedy sort of idiom. So I was thinking about the fact that that Audrey Plaza was playing a character who was basically herself. And then I was thinking about 90 Day Fiance and how these characters that are on it, that I think that kind of happen in reality TV as soon as it becomes sort of like a legacy thing, is that the people that are on there that are playing themselves, they sort of develop into characters. You know, it's a really interesting phenomenon. I'm wondering. I think that nobody who was concerned about the reality TV crisis in the aughts could foresee this particular thing happening, where they probably just saw like, well, you're just taking random people on the street and you're using them in the show or the movie or whatever. It's like basically documentary, right? But the way that reality television has evolved is that those people are given like a certain amount of leeway to create characters, and then they sort of become these characters. And in a way, the characters that they create and then they embody, and they're probably not embodying those characters like 24/7, but it's almost as if those characters are in themselves scripted. So it's kind of an interesting thing where I think reality television has moved in a direction where it was like, well, this can go off the rails because there's no script informing what's going on. And now it's like, and now after you give it a certain amount of time and you let these same people participate in so many different shows within the same like family series, and you're like, no, now these people are actually behaving as if they're scripted. It's almost as if the script is there. And you kind of don't even have to wonder if reality television is scripted so much, because it's almost like it's put upon the individuals themselves to construct the script that they're living out. Right? I don't think anyone foresaw this, you know? And it's kind of interesting getting back to the Amy Poehler, Audrey Plaza video, in the sense that Audrey Plaza, it seems like she kind of outgrew that sort of character that was kind of based on who she supposedly was, and it's sort of more, I mean, she's had bad things happen in her life, but now she has this more developed, all-encompassing sort of aspect to who she is, and there's obviously more gravity to her as a person. This video is longer than I wanted it to be, but it's kind of a philosophical sort of thing that hit me. I've been reading a lot of Derrida, grammatology, so I think that kind of informed it a little bit. But anyways, so if you like the video, it's under 10 minutes, but that's still excessively long. I hope you watch it at like 1.15 or 1.2 speed if you're one of the 4 people that watches it. And like, subscribe, listen to the Happy Casualties. Bye.